Welcome, guys, to a new episode of the John Show. What's up, guys? How are you guys doing? If you guys haven't so far, like, comment, and subscribe to this podcast, to my channel, please. And then you should also follow me on all my social medias at John D. Clouser. You know the name that you subscribe to, John D. Clouser? It's the exact same. You can put that in your Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and you can follow me, and I'll follow you back. All right, guys, enjoy this video, and then we'll get into the podcast. Don't eat snakes. Don't eat bats either. Please. I want this coronavirus to be over with.
Okay.
Hey guys, what is up? What's going on? So, this is a new episode of The John Show with your host, me, John D. Clouser. As you can tell, that's me trying to get my life together. What's up, guys? How are you doing? So, we're here. We're back in the hub doing another episode. Gosh, I've done 6 of these so far. It's always, every week, I'm like, okay, let's get it done. It's always like, for me, it's not as bad doing it with like my other podcasts called the Aaron and John Show. It's not that bad doing it with Aaron because you have someone to talk to. So it's like you just kind of shoot your shit. You have things you can talk about, what you can fall back on. But it's always fun doing it by myself, or it's kind of like it's fun. It always like now at this point I'm in it, I'm doing it. So it's like I have nothing to do other than just do the podcast. But like leading up to it, it's always like this thought. It's like, all right, what are we going to do? How are we going to enter into this? How are we going to do this? What are we going to do? You got to talk for 30 minutes. See if you can talk for 30 minutes. Can you talk for 30 minutes? You just got to do it, man. You just got to do it. And like, I just pump myself up like it's game 7, but I hope you guys are doing well. It is, what day? Today is Tuesday, April 7th. It's about, almost about 15 minutes till 6 o'clock in the PM. And like I said, it's kind of weird. I actually had already filmed this podcast and I did an episode and I did about like 20 minutes and I was trying to do that. And then after I got done with that podcast, my other podcast I was going to record with my co-host Aaron. If you haven't checked that out, you can also check it out. It's also on the same page. You should like, comment, and subscribe. Please don't forget to do that. But it's on the same page as all of my other stuff. But yeah, I was going to do that, and I got 20 minutes into it. I'm like, you know what? Yesterday was weird because like I worked out, and then I got really tired after I worked out. And I'm like, uh-oh, here it is. I'm going to get sick. I didn't feel good to my stomach. I think because I had cereal, and it's the milk. I think my stomach didn't feel good because of the milk, and then I started drinking some beers, and I think that's what it was. But like I started doing the podcast, and I'm like 20 minutes. I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. I don't want to do this now. I'm like, this is so dumb, and I just didn't feel like I had a lot of energy in it. So I was like, screw it, we're stopping. Went ahead and did the other podcast. That was great. You should check it out. That comes out on Thursdays. This one comes out on Tuesday, and I was just so I did it, and then after that I felt great, and then I was thinking, I'm like, I could just go ahead and upload that, the 20-minute podcast or whatever it's going to be, and I'll be good. I'll be fine. But I'm like, no. I have gotten to the point now in my career, in my making art, quote unquote art. That's what I like to do little quotes on it. That I rather take an extra day and make something better and make it something coherent versus doing something that I could have just done it half-assed and then I'm done and then it not be that great. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that. So we are here again on, usually I would have done this on Monday. Actually, I probably should have done it on Saturday night, but I ended up doing like this live stream with all my friends, one of my other friends, because like we all live all across the United States. So I live in Missouri. I have some friends that live in New York. I have a friend that lives in Florida. I have a friend that lives in Los Angeles, and then I have a friend that lives up in Washington State, Seattle area. And so we just did like a Zoom room thing, and then we played Madden. And it was pretty bro-ish, but it was a bunch of guys I went to college with, and it was good. It was fun. It's always nice connecting with them, and it sucks that like we have to reconnect versus something like this, like that coronavirus, but it's always good to see them. And like I gotta see the little kids. All my friends have kids now, and it's so crazy. They're all married and they have kids, and I'm nowhere close to that. Don't have a girlfriend. I'm not married. Don't have any kids. I'm doing pretty good. Being 31 years old, like my pullout game is fucking spectacular. Like I am like an ace at that. But what you should do is you should be wearing condoms, because you know why? Because this is a great fact that you're gonna get from me. You can get a value pack of condoms, and that's like, it has like 24 condoms in it. You can get that for like $12. It's $12 to like $18. You can get that. Not that expensive. Not that much. You know how much a kid costs? Like $100,000. It's, you can do the math, figure out. Actually, I don't even think it's $100,000. It's probably closer to well over $500,000 probably. I don't know what. Let's look at this. Let's look this up. How much does it cost to have a baby? Yep, let's look it up. The average cost, this is a baby to 18 years old, baby to 18 years old. Yeah, it's going to roughly cost you close to about $240,000 to have a baby. Or what you can do is you can pay like $20 and you're going to get some cash back, and you won't have any kids, and you won't have any fucking diseases. It's pretty easy to pick which one what you should get, what you should do. I don't understand. That's one of the things I don't get. I see these people who are like 22, 23 years old, and I'm like, dude, you're so young. I remember when I was 23 and I thought I was old as fuck. I thought I was old as shit. I'm 31 and I feel old as fuck compared to someone who's 23. I'm like, we would have nothing to talk about. Like, we have absolutely nothing to talk about. Granted, like, I'm kind of a kid, so I play with Legos. Like, I have a little collection over here on my desk that's just dedicated strictly to Legos I've made. So I'm a child, and I will admit that. But I see these kids that are 22, 23, and they have babies already. And I'm like, what the fuck? Because I remember in college, and I started seeing people just boof, 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 just started shooting down. And I'm like, oh, have a kid. Oh, have a kid. Oh, have a kid. Oh, have a kid. And I'm like, that's not going to be me. Got condoms. Dude, it's not that much money to get a pack of condoms. Not that much. Really isn't. And you should use them. Nonetheless, just for your own safety, just because like you shouldn't be raw dogging with anybody, especially nowadays. And then, 2, like, you don't want a fucking kid with this fucking random chick that you've just met, and like you barely know. You don't even like them that much. You don't even like the tattoos they have on their back. You don't like how they eat spaghetti. Like, but yet you're gonna raw dog with them. Like, I don't get that at all. It makes not a fucking bit of sense to me, one bit. No way, Jose. No way. But yeah, so like I said, I was going to do this podcast. I did this podcast already, and like already so far, within the 7 minutes of me doing this podcast, or almost 8 minutes, like it is already better than what the podcast was last night. It was horrendous. But like I said, like I was super, super afraid that I thought I was going to be sick, and I thought I was like, oh my, oh. Like, don't get me wrong. I take this stuff really seriously. I wash my hands 20 times a day. My hands are so dry. And like, no matter how much lotion I put on, no matter how much cocoa butter I put on my hands, like they are still super dry. But like, I don't want to get this sickness at all. I don't want to get it. I don't know if I have got it. I don't know. The only thing is, like, I drink a gallon of water. I drink bubbly water, like, as my, like, if I want something that's not just like regular normal spring water, boom, I'll drink one of these and drink it and have fun. I drink a little bit of coffee. I drink a couple beer, like 2 to 3 beers, and I already feel like a piece of shit. Like, this is like my first beer of the day, and it's like 5:30 in the afternoon, and I'm just like, actually, no, that's like the timer. I apologize. It's almost 6 o'clock, like I already said earlier, and I'm like, John, you shouldn't be drinking beer right now. It's like not 7 o'clock, because my rule is I will not, if I'm going to start drinking, if it's just like a couple beers in a night or something like that to wind down, I don't start until at least 7 7 p.m. is what I like to do. And then I never, ever drink beers unless I have food in me first. And these are just little rules I have with myself because I don't want to. My fear is like drinking only like a beer and a half and then like having the worst hangover the next day, because like those are the nights that will fuck you harder than a long night of drinking a bunch of random shit and then like passing out and only getting 3 hours of sleep and having to go to work the next day. Way worse. Way worser. But it's also during the week too, and I've been working out, which, oh man, fucking home workouts are the worst. They are not fun. So I work out, Monday through Friday. And so I'll do 3 days of doing all I have is 20-pound dumbbells, and then I have a yoga mat. So I do like these stretches. I roll out because I have a rolling mat too. And then I have like these 20-pound bells. So I do lunges with these. I do curls with these. I do rows with these. Like it's silly. And then it's a lot of body weight workouts too that I mix in with it. Just like push-ups, a lot of push-ups, crunches, a lot of push-ups, a lot of crunches, jumping jacks. Make the room like 84 degrees and like just sweat. And then the next day, what I'll do to get that's like all upper body stuff. The next day, then I'll run and I'll do my lower body. And I'll run about like 4 and a half miles. And then I'm like, and these are like, the only thing that I like about it is the fact that like I now know the streets pretty well around my neighborhood, one, and then two, I feel like I'm now going to slowly be able to incorporate more cardio into my life, because let's be real, like nobody likes doing cardio that much. I really don't. But the thing is, I don't like it that much right now because I'm not that good at it. But once I start getting my legs back underneath me, no pun intended, I think I'm going to be a lot better. It's good, but my knees are on fire because I ran today, and it fucking sucks. It hurts to go up and down steps. It hurts to just kind of sit around, and it hurts to like, it's only my calves now, which is probably, I guess it's better because it was like my quads and my glutes earlier last week. But it's like, the thing is like, I never do any calf workouts ever. I've stopped doing calf workouts like 2 years ago because I'm like, this is kind of pointless. But I think it's pointless, but I think I'm going to start doing a little bit more of it now, because I can see where like if you're running, having strong calves are kind of important. Even if you don't grow mass, you can still get them strong. What's the point of like working from your knee up? Yeah, that's kind of stupid. I'm glad I did this podcast. This is the self-teaching moment I had with myself. And you have a sneak peek of it. You got to see how it is when I talk to myself and I try to figure out like, how should I make myself better? How can I not be such a pile of shit all the time? Because I feel like I honestly feel like I'm a pile of shit like 80% of the time. But I think that's just because like as someone who makes art, I hate using the word art, but like I don't know what to call it. Like I make stuff. I'm a content creator. Like I feel like all my stuff sucks. So it's like, I don't know. It doesn't matter if I spend $100 on it, or if I spend $1,000 on it, or like a couple $1,000s on it. I'm like, this is still a pile of shit. Like I can't believe I did this. Why did I waste my time? No one wants to see this. No one gives a fuck about this. Why am I doing this? And so what's one of the great things about like, that's the reason why I work out all the time, is because like working out will humble you, and I like having that daily humble of feeling like you're a piece of shit because you can't lift that weight as much as you could, or you can't right now. And so having those feelings, and like, especially, it's so funny when I went to therapy, they're like, my therapist was always like, you shouldn't be talking to yourself like that. Like, but that's how I motivate myself. That's how I make myself like go. That's how everything runs. And then like that. And then when I laugh about like trauma, any kind of trauma, they always are like, my therapist always like, you probably shouldn't be laughing about that. I'm like, but it's funny. They're like, but it's a nervous tick that you're doing. And like the reason why you're doing it is because you're trying to make yourself comfortable with like the trauma. I'm like, isn't that the whole point of what I'm coming here for? And so it's a great time. It's a great back and forth that I do with that lady. But I think it's important that everyone does therapy, because one of the big things I was afraid of, like doing that kind of stuff, was that I was going to lose my ability to make art or make stuff, because like one of the big reasons why you start doing this kind of stuff, because the reason why I'm doing this, I know what it is now, doing therapy, is because like I'm trying to feed a sense of like wanting to be liked or wanting to like be part of. And so instead of like doing drugs or like doing porn or stuff like that, that's not a good example, but I do a podcast, or I sit in front of a camera and I literally have a microphone, and I'm like, hey, you need to stop doing everything that you're doing, and you need to listen to me and listen to what I have to say, because this is way more important, or I feel like this is super important that you need to know, because this is information that you need. And so when you go to therapy, that's what you kind of learn. I learned that kind of stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay. And you're able to learn and able to deal with like when people react. It's mostly like learning how to react to things that happen to you when you have relationships, when you have people in your life. That's basically what you learn. So like when someone like zigs when you wanted them to zag, you're able to like sit there and like, okay, understand. And a lot of like, you have to understand that this is not their fault. It's not your fault. It's not no one's fault. It's just what's happening right now. And what's so funny is that it's just a lot of like, okay, relax. It's just a wave. It's going to end and you'll be okay. And you're going to move on with your day and it's be okay. And it's like, once you think like that, it helps. It's very helpful. And it's very helpful when it's coming to making things real. Like when you're writing a script, like instead of saying like, you know, when you like, you watch a movie and it's like kind of, it's jarring a bit and it's kind of cringy because like the dialogue might be not that good, or the stuff like that. The dialogue's not that good, and like the delivery isn't good by the actor. Well, things like that is because it's like either the script probably wasn't written that well and doesn't have a lot of like substance, or like the actor isn't able to like the actor's not diving or being directed. I shouldn't put it onto the director. I mean, by the actor, because it's not just the actor; it's also the director. Neither one have a idea of where they want the story to be going as the character, as it relates to the character. And so what you do is like, when you like, one of the great things about therapy for me was I was able to learn like ways where like, I'm like, that sounds stale. Let me use this instead. And I was able to take that second and that extra second that I learned in therapy and apply it to my filmmaking, which is great, because literally everything I do, from where I sleep, how I sleep, is dictated all for film. And I've gone full blown into it. And I feel like that's the only way. You have to be obsessed with it. It's with any kind of art kind of stuff. You have to be fully obsessed with it. And if you're not, then I feel like you're not going to survive, because even though I'm doing something like this, and this is going to be nothing in the realm of, it's not going to mean anything. I'm not going to get any money off of this. I am not going to get any attention off this. I'm just going to get maybe a couple of views and maybe a thumbs up, 1 or 2 thumbs up, which, by the way, you should give this episode a thumbs up. And so, but what it is, it's able to make me better because I'm able to talk, slow things down, try to think of a full-blown thought, and then that's going to help me being able to direct somebody in a movie when I make something. And audio, of course, and the video stuff, of course, but that's whatever. Like, the bigger thing is vocalization. And plus, I'm a foreigner, too, so English is like, it's still, I'm 31 years old, and it's still like, I still trip up on stuff. I'm like, what is that word? I don't think I'm saying that right. And it's because I'm foreign. I just blame it on being foreign all the time. So I'm just like, what's that word in English? Or I'm like, I'll pronunciate. Oh, see, exactly right there. I'll mispronounce a word, and then what happens is I'm like, well, it's not my fault, guys. I'm fucking foreign. That's the reason why I'm like talking like this. Like, dude, you should be happy that I sound just like some bro. Like, you should just be happy with this. But yeah, oh my God. So like, I totally had a whole list of stuff I wanted to talk about. As always, I always have a list of stuff I wanted to talk about, but I end up never talking about it. So I might just kind of like, I have about like 9.5 minutes left, so I might just kind of go through that and kind of slowly go. We're going into the descent of the podcast, the back end of it. So what's really funny is I always have a notepad next to me. I always have a pen all the time. I always keep one in my backpack. I have like my phone. What I really like to do is I like to write it down first and take it from the notepad and then put it onto my phone. And my phone then it's connected to my iPad, my laptop, and my desktop and everything. So whenever I want to do it on different things, if I want to do if it's something for like a script, I can just then copy and paste it straight into the script format page platform that I use for it, and then go on and just make my stuff. But so what I like to do is I like to write things down first, because I feel like the more times you can go through it, the more times you have eyes on it, the more likely you're going to be able to really iron it out and make it a lot better. Or at least you're going to have a lot more confidence in what you're providing, because you're like, well, I've seen this a bunch of times and I really like how it is right here. Even though I've never changed it from the start, this was exactly how I was from the day one. And then now it's day 200 of this. And I still like it how it is, right here. So that's the great thing about doing it for me, having so many steps, just being able to see it all the time. So what's funny is what happens is I'll wake up in the middle of the night. I'll have to I'll drink a bunch of water, so I have to pee. And when I'm peeing, I usually am in this weird state. And it's for me, it's the best state to write things down and to figure out what I that's when I'm able to just pull something out of the universe and just be able to oh, I want to use that for something. I don't know what I'll use it for, but I'll use it for something. And so what I'll do is I'll literally have to get up, turn the light on, and then grab a pen and the paper, write it down. I put stars and I put it in a little box, and I make sure, because that indicates to me that this is super important, that needs to be said. This needs to be shared. This is something super important for me to give to you. And I have two of them right now that I would love to share with you, because these are the two that I got this week for this podcast. First one, cock snot. That was the thing that I thought was super important that I needed to tell everyone. And that's also the downside of using that weird, you're not thinking of anything. You're just all out. You're just kind of looking out in a desert of nothing. For me, that's how it feels. And I'm sometimes something will run across and I'll just grab it. And I'm that's what I'm going to use now. I'm going to keep that. And so that was the first one. I thought a cock snot. I'm I can use that for something. I don't know what I'll ever use that for. Probably this right here. And then the other one, cum wizard. So you can definitely think of what I was thinking. And I think it may be because I was peeing. Both of these times I was peeing first, and then from peeing, I'm cock snot. And I'm washing my hands, cock snot, still in the dark, cock snot. I'll come back into my room, turn the light on, grab my pen and paper, write it down, star it, put it in a box. And I'm yeah, people will love this. That's what I think. And I'm this is super important to have. I'm I don't know why. I think that. I do not know why. Another thing I put in is Happy Passover. I guess that's the thing. That's not anything. That's just Passover is on tomorrow. Yeah, Passover starts tomorrow. And it's fun. It's a good time. So if you're not familiar with what Passover is, it's when the Jews got their freedom from the Egyptians, that's the Egyptian flag right there, if you're not familiar with it. Yeah. It's when Moses led them, and that's when the beginning of the 40 years of traveling the deserts, and when God gave them manna and stuff. And so they had to leave. One of the big things you'll do is you'll eat manna, the bread, and God, or the reason why it was like that was because they didn't have enough time for let the yeast rise. They didn't have enough time for the bread to rise. So what they did was they just took it. And they just left, and they fled Egypt. And then that's when the whole Red Sea got parted and all that good stuff. And it's actually really cool. I went to the Red Sea. It didn't part when I was there, but I've been there. It was really cool. When you're like that. I remember when I went to Israel when I was, I think I was 8 when I went there, and it was really cool because we had the whole. my parents are super into having me they were super into having me being very cultured. So they're like, we got to learn the Jewish way of how it went through here. We need to learn how the Christian way was through here. And then we also learned how the Muslim thing. And so we went to the Dome of the Rock. We went to the place of Armageddon where Christians believe that is where the world will end. And then we went to all these crazy places, all these weird little old bath houses, Sodom and Gomorrah. That's Old Testament stuff, because Jews believe in Old Testament, then Christians believe in Old and New. It's weird. It's so interesting to me because for them, they believe that God had this whole coming to an age moment. He's like, okay, I'm just gonna become a way nicer person now instead of being so mean all the time. And but Jews are just like, nope, we're scared of it. But there's no hell for us. It's interesting. It's just there's here or there's not here. But yeah, I hope you guys. I got 3 minutes left. I don't know what else I got. I keep wanting to tell you guys a story, and I told it in the other one, in the first podcast I recorded. But I think I'm just gonna use this one instead, about when my dad called me. And it's a good joke. It's like I end up writing it, and I think I'm gonna use it as a bit for something, because I think it's great. I think it's hilarious. It's a story when my dad called me. But yeah, I wrote it down, and what I would like to do sometimes is I have things that I write down, and I think that these might be kind of interesting, kind of funny little stories, little shorts I have, and I just memorize them. And I was gonna tell you guys this story, but I don't have enough time to tell you because I only have 2.5 minutes left on this podcast. But what else do I have? Dude is I watched I saw this porno, and this it was it's just normal porn, this guy and girl normal stuff. And then what happened that I thought was so weird was that he was about to come, and so he pulled out of her, and he cummed on her high heels because she wasn't wearing them anymore. He came on the high heels, and then he slipped the high heels back on her feet, and they had her walk around naked with cum on the bottom of her feet with high heels. And it was weird as shit. And it was a kind of just a normal, decent, whatever, pretty bread and butter porno, doggy style missionary on the side, BJ, licking pussy, that whole normal stuff. And then what happened was that he came on the high heels, these fucking huge 4-inch high heels, and then she just slipped them on and walked around. I thought it was the weirdest fucking way to end anything. That's the weirdest thing to end. Doesn't matter. That's so weird to end a porno, let alone just normal stuff. So what's so weird is that is on a porno. So there are guys out there that will like to come on high heels and have the girl wear those high heels. Now that is a story I want to hear. That is a story I want to hear from some girl telling me yeah, I was dating this guy. He's just normal. But the one thing he likes is he likes me to wear these high heels. He fucks me. And when he's about to come, he pulls out and he comes on them. And then, that's it. We walk around for a little bit, and then we go take a shower, and then we go have Olive Garden, and it's just a great time. That's just it's just our life. All right, guys. I think that is where I'm going to end this podcast. Coming and going to Olive Garden. I think that's where I'm going to. That's it. Coming and Olive Garden. I think that might be the title. Well, if you guys haven't yet so far, please like, comment, and subscribe to this podcast. Thank you guys so much. If you have been watching, I will see you guys on the next episode. Wash your hands. Don't eat bats. Be safe, guys.